Terry Dwayne Ashford, SNnews. June 1st, Tuesday morning. I'm Terry Dwayne Ashford. Good morning, everyone. Terry Dwayne Ashford here, SNnews. We're coming in with you about you for you on June 1st. June 1st, Tuesday morning, only after Memorial Day. I'm Terry Dwayne Ashford. We are starting the day with a message that was sent to my first, just a message this morning, around 5:47, and immediately after sending that message, what shows up and sits outside his door but a black man in a silver Mercedes, and the tag number on that Mercedes is XX9710004. It is a C240. Now let us explain how that happened, guys. We don't want anyone to think that the wrong one is stalking or doing anything to anybody. But as soon as Terry Dwayne Ashford, that's me, whose voice you're hearing right now, as soon as Terry Dwayne Ashford sends a message to Scott for assistance that he's been given all along, this particular black male African appearing goes and sits in front of Scott's house, lays back into the car and pretends to be sleeping on the driver's side of the car. And then when you look down at the garbage that the African has placed onto the ground next to the car door in front of Scott's house, between him, his car door, and Scott's house, you have right there, just as we saw another man do in the park, who goes out and pulls out wreaths of paper and balls it all up right beside this C240, silver C240 tag number XX9710004. You have 3 white pieces of paper balled up and 2 extremely bright orange pieces of paper right at the car door of the black male that appears to be an African, who arrived outside of Scott's door at 6 a.m. on June 1st morning. The arrival appears to be connected to the text that Terry Dwayne Ashford sent to Scott Horsley. And at this particular broadcast time, 6:24 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on June 1st, Tuesday morning, this black man waits. Currently, this particular black man right now, as he sees we're reporting, he begins to signal to the reporter by what appears to be waking up. Tag number XX9710004, expiration on the drive-out tag is June 29th, 21. June 29th, 21. As a result of this incident, this particular photograph gallery has been developed to show you not only the vehicle, not only the person that's sleeping inside of the car, not only the paper that's right there on the side of the car that was placed there at 6:05 immediately after the text was sent to Scott. It would also show you the vicinity of this man in front of Scott's house. For SNnews, StreetNOW News, I'm Terry Dwayne Ashford, who also wants to state to you that during the sending of the text, SNnews, Terry Dwayne Ashford drove past Scott's house at 5:55, and this particular vehicle was not there waiting. once Scott sent the message back to Terry Dwayne Ashford stating that, okay, it is at that particular time that this vehicle showed up and sat outside the door around 6:05. I believe it's SNnews' opinion that if we pull the video of the area, of him parking in the area, we can sync the video of this man parking in the area at Scott Horsley's house based on a text message with the text message that Scott Horsley sent to Terry Dwayne Ashford. That is what we are thinking. For SNnews, I'm Terry Dwayne Ashford. It sorely, sadly appears that the text message that Scott Horsley sent to Terry Dwayne Ashford was mapped to this man showing up outside his door in the silver Mercedes C240. We also want to mention that in Terry Dwayne Ashford's email, we have been receiving some type of insurance about a Mercedes that we thought was spam mail. It began to pop up at our wash1932 email address. For SNnews, I'm Terry Dwayne Ashford. We all are sitting here right now just waiting on this black African male to do what he came to do. We're waiting on you to do what your small little pea brain thought would fly. Gosh, that's amazing, isn't it? You tell me this is not amazing. You tell me that it is safe to have something like that in your house with you. You tell me that. We're also going to give you something else to think about here. And that is that the fact that all this is going on, this will be placed in your house with you. And this was coupled with the police officers waiting up at the end of the street. And that means an exchange that was been taking place. There was a police officer waiting right at the end of the street there, right? The last place where Terry Dwayne Ashford carried out the reporting in the area on 3rd Street. And what we anticipate this would be is a push and shove. It is a push and a shove, with police hoping and expecting to sabotage Terry Dwayne Ashford. Let us close out with a tag number for you one more time. It's XX971004. Expiration date on that tag is June 29th, 2021. It is a silver 240. And while you're seeing what you're seeing right here on Tuesday morning, June 1st, time right now is 6:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me inform you of what Terry Dwayne Ashford has been seeing. Let SNnews inform you of what Terry Dwayne Ashford has been seeing, popping up in his email. Woo! Terry Dwayne Ashford, SNnews. Just showing you who you're messing with when you're messing with journalism and when you're messing with news. We're going to go right back into that part of what was popping up in his email, and we're going to do that for you. Again, that particular email was showing a Mercedes-Benz been connected to my email address, and in the email it said something regarding some insurance for a Mercedes-Benz. Well, let me tell you what we did. Of course, as with anyone else, Terry Dwayne Ashford, we thought the email was spam, and we deleted the email, but it kept coming back to back to back for 3 or 4 days. Well, you don't read stuff like that when it comes with a huge headline of something you don't even have anything to do with. You don't read it. The subject line stated Mercedes-Benz, and it continued to come back and back to my email address. We're going to give you a part 2 of this report this morning, but we wanted to make sure that you understood what was happening. We're going to give you a part 2 of this because we need to make sure that you know what's happening here. The serial number for that particular Mercedes-Benz was being connected to Terry Dwayne Ashford inappropriately and being framed. And that is a problem. That is a huge problem. No serious problem that you're seeing right here. From our perspective, is that it appears that someone who has a badge is trying to frame someone who is innocent. It appears that somebody who has a badge is trying to frame someone who doesn't know anything at all about what in the heck there is going on. It look like they're mad because one of their criminals got caught. That's a serious crime. We need to identify the badge, which we already have, we believe, and we need to get them out. And that is what's left to be done. We need to get them out. And if you're doing that with a badge, we want you. Yeah, you. We want you locked. I mean, totally locked away. The most serious of all this crime is that you're having someone that appears to have a badge appearing to be framing innocent people because a particular money scheme that the badge was involved in failed with Terry Dwayne Ashford, StreetNOW News. We are going to come back with a part 2, but we do also want to indicate that sitting right at the corner at 6 a.m. Tuesday morning, 6 a.m., June 1st, there was another Washington DC Metropolitan Police sitting right there in another location where Terry Dwayne Ashford does broadcast. And that location was Farragut Street, Northwest, Washington, D.C., on 3rd Street. We believe that particular sitting Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police officer at Farragut Street was eavesdropping and waiting while the silver Mercedes-Benz rushes to park at Scott's house to be perceived as the one who was sending the message, the text message, because that occurred right at the exact same time that Terry Dwayne Ashford sent a text message to Scott Horsley to be perceived as him. And then that was supposed to have the serial numbers of those cars swapped. Serial number that was connected to Terry Dwayne Ashford through a fraud email that was sent to spam because it was so far out of the way. Reporting live for you, I'm Terry Dwayne Ashford. We're coming back with a part 2. This particular production was produced by Terry Dwayne Ashford, managed by Terry Dwayne Ashford, directed by Terry Dwayne Ashford. Reporting is the voice of Terry Dwayne Ashford, and the face on the cover of this particular broadcast is that of Terry Dwayne Ashford. June 1st is the morning. June 1st, Tuesday morning is it.